What's going on, guys? We are back with another video today. We are back crappie fishing. It's me, we got Steve with, and it is a new day. I can already tell just by driving around a little bit. It is not the same day we had yesterday. It is not going to be a ton of sharp shooting fish way up high. It's going to be a lot of fishing fish that are spread out and towards the bottom more. I don't know if it's the barometer, weather, what's going on, but it is not a high stack of fish. So we're going to kind of break down a tough crappie bite and show you guys how you can finesse a lot of these deep water crappies in the spring, kind of before they move up to spawn. So we're going to break it down for you, show you guys how to find them on side imaging and sonar, and then show you how to catch them when the bite's tough. So stay tuned. We're going to get after it, run out to the first spot, and hopefully catch a bunch of fish. Stay tuned. All right, spot number one. Yet another super windy April day out here. It's not as cold though, so we'll take it. All right, so we're cruising around the first spot here. And previous day it was super obvious to see, we're looking at super tall stacks of fish. Today these fish have compressed a lot more towards the bottom. So side imaging is actually one of our best friends right now. We're driving around and we're looking for stuff that looks just like this right here. You can see there's a school of crappies right here, quite a few of them, and this is the kind of stuff we're looking for. And on the soft bottom stuff, these schools of fish are going to show up super easy. So run a lot of that side imaging, and you're looking for those tall stacks. Now, other days they were basically sitting like this. Now they're kind of sitting more along the bottom like that. And this is a lot of times what you see when the bite kind of gets tougher, where these fish spread out quite a bit. So if you're running a lot of sonar over this, it's just going to look like almost no fish there. It's going to be like little blip here on the bottom. But running that side image, it kind of gives you a better idea of how wide that pot of fish is. So that's what we're kind of looking for. We've seen a few of those kind of fish, and I've kind of waypointed out or made a mental note of where those fish are. Next thing we're going to do is kind of get around them, spot lock, and start casting to them. So we're going to kind of spot lock up here and hopefully get bit. Stay tuned. Okay. All right, we are hooked up on the first one here. Not a big one, but we're kind of running a pattern of fishing both slip bobbers, and I'm kind of sharp shooting anything that might be right in the bottom. Little guy there, but I'm using a little Acme Hyper Rattle in the smallest size, and just kind of watching it on sonar. And it's kind of a good way, you're obviously you can use multiple lines. So between fishing the slip bobbers and sharp shooting fish off the grass, that's kind of our hope today to put this whole thing together. Fish on. Hooked up on the slip bobber. Very, very finicky fish today. Here we go. There's a little crappie. Just fishing a little Kalen's crappie scrub. And hopefully that is not the biggest one we get today, but they are super picky, and we're on top of some. So we'll give it a little bit here and see if we got a move or what's going on. We got a fish taking a bobber. Are you hooked up?
Yep.
I am hooked up as well. Doubled up. Doesn't feel super big. Maybe not a bad one. Oh yeah, decent crappie there. It's about probably 10 and a half. And there's a pair right there. Just kind of finding them on the side imaging. And fishing the bobbers to kind of drift through, cover a little bit more water, catching fish. We are fishing one of my favorite plastics. The little Kalen's crappie scrub there. Absolute killer all spring, summer, fall for crappies. So the reason slip bobbering is so effective for fishing this way is because these fish are always roaming out here. They're not necessarily holding on a spot. We spot them on side imaging or on sonar, however we see them, and they're just kind of continually moving around kind of that deeper basin area. And in the spring, in a couple of weeks here, once these fish get up like in the trees and stuff, then they're going to be holding on specific pieces of structure, specific weed edge, specific log or tree in the water, whatever you got. But the slip bobber is basically, it's always drifting around. Normally we can run a couple of lines at the same time and kind of probe different areas for when those fish move through. And they're so lethargic right now. Very different than the other day we were out here. These fish, you can almost watch them a lot of times on the graph. They'll come right up to you and they'll kind of sink back down. And a slip bobber is almost perfectly lifeless. It's just hanging there right in their face, and eventually one makes mistakes. So keep in mind, if you're kind of fishing a scenario like this, a larger flat or a deeper basin like this, and there's just kind of fish moving around, a lot of times it's a lot better to fish something like slip bobber, especially if you got some wind, or you can fish multiple lines to kind of cover a little bit of water. Because if we had to like drop shot these fish or like fish a jig straight down, this would be much more difficult to keep that bait in front of that fish's face for long enough, number one, and then number two, put it in front of enough fish to get bit. Hooked up on another one. One good thing to remember is that if you have two slip bobbers out and one is just not catching fish with the same bait on, it is more than likely that one is either set too deep or too shallow, and that was the case. Kind of recheck this one with the depth finder, and immediately bobber goes down, fish
really,
on.
Really picked up since he changed it.
Good deal. All right, we got bobber down and fish on. We just kind of moved spots, saw another nice little pot on side imaging, and pitched out to him and fish on pretty much right away. These are definitely some grinder days of crappie fishing. This is not how they set up at all, but in a tough bite, you still can't get them. It's just a little bit more of a moving thing. You know, the other day I was fishing basically just driving around, dropping right in pods of fish and catching them that way. Today, it is all about covering a little bit more water as these fish are just kind of matted around on the bottom. All right, so talking about slip bobber rigs quick, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, a lot of different slip bobbers out there. You know, a lot of times in the spring we're fishing way up shallow, we're fishing slip floats or fixed floats, just, you know, they kind of clip onto your line. This time of year, since we're fishing these deep basin spots, a lot of this 20-ish foot stuff, we're running slip bobbers, obviously. And basically, what I like to do mine is little jig head down on the bottom, like a 32nd ounce, and then obviously your little crappie scrub or kind of whatever plastic you're fishing. And then normally about a 2 to 3 foot lead, and then some kind of weight. You can either just run a split shot in there, or you can put a swivel and like a sliding egg weight, and then your slip bobber. And hands down, my favorite are these Still Wobble bobbers. This is a 1/16 size, which is a good crappie size, and I use a lot of these for walleyes too, like up in the 1/4 or 3/8 size. But basically the main part is they have a brass grommet in here, which makes the line slide through very easy. After you do a lot of hook setting, it doesn't start nicking up your line. Basically, they're indestructible bobbers. And then obviously your bead, and then a slip bobber knot up the line. And it's really that simple. Now, how do you set them as far as depth goes? A lot of times I'll set them right with my graph. So if my transducer is right in the back of the boat, a lot of times I'll drop it down, and you'll see 2 marks. One mark will obviously be your sinker, and the next mark will be your bait. And a lot of times I'll kind of see where all those fish are. Let's say it's 20 feet deep, all the fish are down 18. Well, then I'll set my slip bobber at like 16 feet. Give those crappies something to look at up high. So it makes it real easy by dropping it right next to your sonar to see the fish, see your bait, and know exactly how deep to set that thing up. Hooked up. I was actually just resetting the bobber, and bobber down. Definitely a few fish around. Nothing crazy, but some days you just have to work a little bit harder for them. Decent one there. For keeping them, it'd be a solid one. Fish on. The bite has literally gotten so difficult, we are basically power slip bobbering them. Driving around till you see one at least elevated a foot off the bottom, and then dropping right down to them. Pretty crazy. Not your typical spring crappie bite, but we are catching them. Nice one there. Beauty. Spring crappie.
Yep.
Hooked up. Someone's trying to call me.
Oh, no.
Slow and methodical. But we're having a decent day.
Really light bite.
Super light bite. But
Nice fish.
another nice crappie though. On the slip bobber. Awesome. Alright, well thank you guys for watching today's video. That is going to do it for today. This was an absolute grinder of a crappie afternoon. I thought we were going to come out here and film something totally different because the fish were so jacked up yesterday. We were going to sharpshoot them with some cool baits and stuff like that. But ultimately, they were just incredibly not schooled up, very scattered fish and very negative overall. but these are just some of the things that you run to in the spring. Spring's a very volatile time of year for fish. You can see phenomenal fishing, and the next day you can see absolutely terrible fishing in the spring. That's just kind of the way spring is across the board for pretty much everything. So, you know, you get a tough day, you're not seeing a lot of those crappies up shallow, you're not seeing them schooled up out deep, you know, turn that side imaging on, drive out over those mud basins, and a lot of times you're gonna see those fish sitting on these big flats that most guys won't see unless they're running side imaging, and then try to fish something like a slip float like we did, something that moves through that area gradually, and you can fish several lines at the same time. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Stay tuned for more content. I don't know what we're gonna be doing next, but we will be fishing tomorrow and hopefully filming a video. So thanks for watching. If you're not yet, please subscribe and stay tuned for more.